Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you are most definitely welcome, and if you've been coming back for quite some time, thank you for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys my personal first impression of Australia when we first got here. So if you want to stay tuned and learn about what I thought and what my family thought of Australia, you'd want to hear some of this stuff. This shit cracks me up every single time. So let's go. Hey, thank you so much, guys. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. But I'm just going to get straight into the video. I just thought I'll sit down and share with you guys my first impression of Australia, and also just things that I can remember from my family when we first arrived here some years ago. So I'm from South Sudan, for some of you guys that don't know. And we came to Australia maybe around 24 years ago or something like that, coming up close to 25. And when we first came here, every time I think about it, I just want to laugh, okay? So obviously we came as refugees because there was war in my country. So we were obviously seeking refuge in a few countries before we got accepted into coming to Australia. And just before we came to Australia, there was not a lot of training that was provided about how to get on in Australia and what to do. I think people just expected that we'd come here and settled and would be fine, and you know, everything is all going to be sweet. But to our surprise, it was not as easy as we thought it would be, because first we came here, and the first impression when we landed, actually when we left Kenya, there was a lot of black people on the plane. There was some people, there was lots of people that were going to South Africa, because the first stop was South Africa. So there was like heaps of black people, but there was a few whites, but not many. A few Caucasian, but not many. So when we got to South Africa, obviously I was still young, and I remember we had to transit, and I had a plastic bag. That's where all my belongings were, sadly. Look guys, when I say we come from humble beginnings, you gotta understand that shit. We came from nowhere, okay? So we came from absolute nowhere, okay? And I'm so proud to be where I am today. Going back on track, so we started in South Africa. I could see there was more Caucasian people getting on the plane. It was a bit scary, but I wasn't like, there was family there, so I wasn't too terrified, but part of me was scared, okay? I was scared of white people. In my village, okay, there was Father Mark and another guy, I think his name was Andrew. I don't know what he was doing there. I just assume he would have been from the UN. Those are the two people that I've seen. And then in Kenya, every now and then you see light skin or you see white people, but you don't get close to them. You don't get too close. So anyway, I don't know if I should say white or Caucasian. Don't get offended, you know what I'm saying. So anyhow, we got to Perth, and oh my god, this is it. I felt like we're literally gonna, like, I thought that was the end of the world, because as soon as we got to Perth, we started to see a lot of fair-skinned people and blonde chicks everywhere. And you know how they're all so well presented when they work for the airline? Like, they have beautiful lipstick on, their eyes, like they had blue eyes, blonde hair, some of them had like red hair, and I was like, oh my god, these people are weird. Like, these people are weird. How can somebody have blue eyes and white hair, like, and they look so young? I was so confused, because I thought white hair or like blonde hair was for old people, and everybody else should have black hair like me. Anyhow, fun fact, that was me. Silly me. Good old blonde Akira. No offense to blondes. Anyhow, and then the whole family had a giggle, like some of the kids. And then we get to Brisbane, and as we were just about to actually get off the plane, there were so many people. Again, like I said, as soon as we're about to exit, there were so many people with blue eyes that you could notice, because before you were seated and you couldn't really see people, but this time you're actually going and you could pay attention. And I was so scared. I was terrified deep in my heart. So then I started bursting into like giggles just to hide my I suppose my fear. So I was giggling and like non-stop, just laughing, and I was laughing at them and also laughing at the fact that I was so scared, but I didn't want to seem like I was scared. So the Queenslander, you would understand, it is the middle of summer, okay? Like, it was so hot, we literally all just ran back in the plane. Like, we just kind of pushed the hair hostess away, like, we're coming through, and we just ran back in, and they're like, come. I just remember them saying something. It didn't really make a lot of sense at the time, because obviously they had such a unique accent that I never kind of heard of. So it was just kind of like, it was not like what we saw in Bold and the Beautiful. It was different. It was not American, but it was still confusing. There was a lot going on, okay? So anyway, they took us out and we couldn't breathe and we're like, oh, we're gonna die, this is it, this is hell. And so as we got out from the airport in Brisbane, we were greeted by a whole bunch of older people, like really old white people. Caucasian people, and I was like, oh my god, this is it, we are finished, we're gonna, because I used to say, there was a joke that if you go overseas, you're gonna be cleaning dogs' teeth and you're gonna be looking after dogs, like in a negative way, not like a vet, but more like, oh my god, your life is gonna finish sort of thing. So anyhow, these people picked us up in a van. There was about 12 of us, like including my older sister, who was the sole guardian for all of us. So 12 kids, 11 kids plus my older sister. She had at the time, she was quite young, so it was very scary, okay? So we get in the van and we get driven to like an overnight accommodation in Brisbane, and as all the boys in my family, they were all taking their clothes off, and it's too hot and I can't handle this, and where are we? And it was full on, it was intense, and we were laughing because it was just so different. And I remember on the drive to the place, the apartment where we stayed overnight, as we're stopping at the traffic light, we're looking outside and pointing at everything. Oh, look at that Amara, it looks like Amara in Nairobi. Oh, look at that, oh my god, Tingcha, oh look at this, look at that. It was just so much fun, but it was more intense because there were so many of us and we all had different experiences in our lives at this point in time, but we're all put together, we became an instant family sort of thing. So anyhow, slept overnight in Brisbane. Some people had showers just ongoing, like they would not stop showering because it was that hot and we couldn't stand. It was humid. It was not just the fact that it was hot, because it was quite hot where we came from, but it was just humidity of it. It was killing, okay? So showering, whatever. We slept. I think I went to bed around 2 o'clock. When we woke up at about 5:30 to shower and get ready to actually go to drive to Toowoomba. That's where we first settled. We were the first Sudanese family in Toowoomba, like at that time. So drove to Toowoomba, which was 2 hours and a half. But we kind of, on our way to Toowoomba, there was so much food that they gave us. So we had a lot of junk food. We had poppers to drink. They had Coke. They had this. And oh my goodness, the only thing we could actually eat was junk food because we felt safe to do so because it was packaged. But not only that, it didn't have any particular smell. So anyway, we go to our house in Toowoomba. It was such a beautiful house. It was by the lake. If you live in Toowoomba, you'd know it's like Lake Annan, which is a really beautiful area. I think from that area moving backward is kind of like an affluent area, and so it was kind of different to where we came from in Kenya. So you could say I came from the slums, okay? Because Zimmerman was pretty much the slums. Some people would argue, but I thought Zimmerman was close to the slums, right? So this place was really nice. We got welcomed. There was a beautiful ladies, and everybody was so old, and I felt like, where are we? Are we in the land of the old? Little did I know, because they came from Anglicare, the church, so they were like the church people trying to help us. That's why it was mainly old people working for the church. So anyhow, we got welcome. And all these clothes, they had all these clothes in bags, and they had different sizes for each child. And I remember they gave me something that, you know, like some of the clothes were so dodgy. Oh my god, I could have sworn those ladies were wearing them, but they decided to give it to us, okay? Anyway, generous. I'm not gonna complain. It was quite generous because I've never had so many clothes in my entire life. I had everything you could think of under the sun, and I was so grateful at that time. Things were falling off my ass, but I was just like, oh my god, let go. I was just like ravaging through everything, like this is mine, this is mine, this is mine sort of thing. Like I was savage, survival of the fittest. I didn't know if we were going to live or not. We could have literally been kicked out of Australia anytime, because that was my previous experience, getting thrown out of different countries because we're no longer wanted as refugees. Tough luck. It's tough life out there. So obviously I was trying to get everything I could. Anyway, and then it got really interesting because the first day there was lots of sandwiches that they made for us, lots of sandwiches, different flavors. There was egg, there was Vegemite, there was lettuce, there was ham and stuff like that. And half of us didn't eat because it was just so foreign to us. Like, what is a sandwich? It's bread with stuff in it, and then you smell the stuff, like the ham smell. I wanted to vomit just smelling the ham. It smelled like egg and yuck, and then the egg smelled like egg and fart. Like, oh, I'm not gonna eat that. It smells like fart. And the thing is, at the time, because I think in our culture we are allowed to express ourselves quite openly, so we thought every time you see something you don't like, you just say it. So these ladies would be like, would you like that? I'm like, no, that smells like fart. And you know that is not cool, right? But I didn't know, because I just didn't know. So we had that, and then the next, I think it was next day, they ordered us pizza. So some of the workers came back and they were trying to like help us with bicycle. They brought some secondhand bicycle, so everybody was on their bike. And mind you, I've never ridden a bike really, to be honest. I tried in Kenya, but I suck. So this time there was actually my own bike. It was like fluoro yellow. I was so happy and so grateful. Mind you, this bike was falling apart, but I didn't care. I was so happy. And so anyway, I got a huge ass pillow and I tied that around my ass. I'm not bullshitting you. I tied that around my waist and my thigh, like around my ass, and then I got on my bike, okay? And this was for protection. And then I had a helmet on. I remember it was like an orange, ugly, one of those really old school ones that came around. It just looked so nasty. Put that on and I was trying and I fell down a numerous of times. Thank God I had my pillow on my ass, because every time I fell down, I could have sworn I could feel the pain right here in the center of my head, because I just hit the bottom. Like I don't fall face first. I fall on my bum because I think I let go of the bike. So anyhow, that was fun. They came, they did that, and then they ordered us pizza for lunch, because we were just all out in the park. There was kids everywhere, and luckily our street was really, it was kind of like no through road, so we could do as much as riding as we like. And there was a park across the road, and there was actually one opposite our house, so this was like heaven on earth for us. And so the same day they bought pizza for lunch, and we were sitting around the grass, like kind of like facing the park there. And I remember we were eating, like it was pizza, and we just saw stuff that looked like veg on it, so it was just vegetables, so what, who cares? So we started eating, munching away, and then there was another box there that had like Supreme, and then there was one that had prawns on it. And anyway, so the Supreme one, we started eating it, right? And it had mushrooms on it. And just as soon as we were about to finish eating the pizza, somebody burst out saying, oh, it's got ngui thin, which means this hyenas balls, like hyenas balls in the pizza. So we all just went out and we're like try to vomit, because we were so disgusted. Like, how are we gonna eat ngui? Like, who eats ngui? Anyhow, hilarious. We're all just laughing, rolling, and then somebody else bust out going, but you guys ate comb? What did you have a comb? You know the prawns? We call it comb, like insects. They're like, you guys already ate insects. And we're like, oh my God, we are gonna die. Like, this is what they're offering people, insects, and they're offering people hyenas balls and stuff like that. This is the lifestyle in Australia. No way. So anyway, that was fun. It was hilarious, because the ladies came and they were trying to explain to us it's okay. We're just laughing, and some people were like really upset that we weren't told about it. But you know what, it was fun. And then my first experience going to school in Australia, I was in year 6, and I went to Gabinbar Primary School. And the first day we went there, because we had just arrived, one of the ladies, a volunteer, picked us up and took us there for the first few weeks. And when we got there, we also got like given, like, I think it must have been a gift voucher or something for the tax shop. So we got to the tax shop and they called out my name, and I went, and then they gave me like a huge ass, like one of those really big, the standard, but to me it looked really big, the donut, the pink. I picked the pink flavor and I bit into that shit, and it was so good. Oh my God, I had never tasted anything so amazing. Okay, I was just like, oh, can I meet a read? I said to my nephew, I said, oh, this is so good. Can I meet a read, you know? And I said to my cousin, Yao, have you tried this? I said, have you tried this? And I'm like, oh, God, just eating. Anyhow, and then mine finished, obviously, because I was just like, like a little monster. And skinny as hell too. So as soon as I finished my donut, I went back to the queue, because I thought it was just being given out for free. And the lady looks at me, she said something, I don't know what she said, but I think she said something along the lines as in, you're not getting any more. But I kept getting it, and she said no, and she just literally, no more, no more, no more. And as soon as I saw that, I kind of figured she was really meaning no. Like, I mean, mind you, I went to school in English, but it was the accent that was really making me struggle. So I just stood there and I started crying. I was bawling, like, oh my gosh, she's not giving me, the only thing I could actually eat and enjoy was donut, and she's not giving me a donut. How selfish of you, how selfish of you. So then I went, you know, like, I just kind of left the queue, and I looked so sad. So one of the girls, her name was Jennifer, she came to me, she's like, she said something, I don't know what she said, but I'm sure she was just trying to comfort me, and she gave me half of her donut that was chocolate. So thank you. If you're still out there, Jennifer from Gabinbar, thank you so much. You saved my life that day. That donut meant everything for me, you know. So anyway, I ate half of her donut, and then we went to class together. And last but not least, my first time trying to answer stuff in class, I sat next to this guy. His name was Luke Walker, and he was, I think, he was a bit a kind of like a mischievous boy, and he every time I want to answer something, like I kind of knew my stuff, like maths, I kind of understood it very well. I might not speak English, but I understood mathematics formulas really well, and because I did really well at school back home. And then I also understood science really well. So when they were trying to like ask questions in science or math, I always put my hands up, but obviously I was delivering with my beautiful African really exotic accent, and they couldn't quite understand me. Mind you, I didn't understand them either. So anyway, I wanted to put my hands up, and Luke Walker said to me, just say, put your hands up and say fuck you. So I put my hands up and I said F you to the teacher. Anderson, was it Mr. I think it was Mr. Anderson. Anyway, I put on my hands and I said F you, and he just said Akia. He said something, but I could see that he didn't mean it, and he said Luke Walker out. And so he got sent out for the rest of the class, and then I got called in, and I think he was trying to explain to me not to say that, and he kept saying no. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I kind of figured I was in trouble. That was my first experience. So anyway, guys, if you stayed until this point, thank you so much for support and always listening to my stories. I really appreciate it. Please share my video with your friends and all your contacts so I can keep creating content like this. If you like story time and storytelling, I think this is where I feel more comfortable. But I can also produce some makeup tutorial. I do some pretty kick-ass makeup, okay? Don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. I do some pretty good makeup. My only fear is I can't talk and do makeup at the same time, because then I get lost and then I'll be on camera for hours and hours and hours, and I don't want to do that. Wait. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see some more videos like this, please leave some comments below, subscribe, like and share, and I'll be back. Thank you. Bye.